Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? And good morning. I've got a bit of a bug trying to get a hold of me, so I'm going to try to make this kind of short so you won't have to listen to me cough or clear my throat too much. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it'll be gone in a day or so. A couple of things before we start. By the way, welcome to all the new people, both on YouTube and on Patreon. It's great to have you here. By the way, you folks over on Patreon, the last few videos we put up over there just for Patreon, your conversation has been exceptional. I love reading the comments, as I do on YouTube, but you are really, that's an exceptional place. For those of you who aren't on Patreon, I always put the link down here. Would love to have you over there. It's everything that you get on YouTube, plus a lot more that we can't talk about on Patreon. And it kind of takes you into areas that we can't go to here, but really are important. I went up to the post office yesterday to mail out a bunch of book orders, and then I checked my post office box to get the new orders in. And yes, it shows you down there in the information section and a pinned comment how to get autographed copies of my books also, if you'd like. Other way, you can get it faster from Amazon, but you can get it from me that way if you'd like. And in one of the orders, the person included a patch. Now, this is from the University of Wisconsin Hospital and Clinic, so UW Health, their security department. That's very nice, because I did the last couple, you all know I used to be in law enforcement, but I spent about the last 12 years in healthcare security, which is quite specialized security. And these guys have a lot to deal with that even a lot of the city, I don't mean the inner city cops, but the suburban cops and things like that, don't deal with that much. They are being inundated with overdoses, with suicides, with combative patients, with I tell you, these guys do a job. Many of them are commissioned. Many of them, like myself, were former law enforcement. So they do a good job. Anyway, thank you for that. In the past, I've had other of our viewers who are law enforcement send me notes and letters in the mail, whether or not they order a book. A lot of times they'll just, send me a note or a letter, which is very nice, and they'll include a patch from their department. That is a thing among law enforcement. For those of you who are not in law enforcement, pretty much every police department, sheriff's department has a big board somewhere that you trade patches when you go to different things around the country. You can trade patches with guys who are from other departments, and it got me to thinking. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but any of you law enforcement guys or military guys or security guys or whatever, if you'd like to send me a patch, and there's a mailing address down there, if you would like to send me a patch from your department or your unit or whatever like that, I'd love to have it. That would be great. Send it to me, and if I get enough, I'll make a big board. I'm putting together kind of I won't call it a studio. That sounds a little highfalutin, but a little area where I'll be shooting more and more of my videos later on. We've got a lot on the books this summertime, but it'll be a place where I can sit and kind of dedicate it to the makings of the videos. The lighting will be right and all that. Don't worry, I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm just not a fancy person. But if enough people send me those, I'll put up a board and put it behind where I'm going to sit, and that'll be interesting for a lot of people to see. So if you are, one of those law enforcement, military, security, if you got a patch, you'd like to send it to me, I'd love to have it. Thank you for that. It means a lot. I appreciate that. Speaking of the books, I don't know what ad you might have seen on the front of this video, but if it was a Sandy Hook Promise or something like that, just fast forward through that or skip that ad. It's not brought to you. I can't control what YouTube puts on my, videos as advertising, but this video and every video is really brought to you by The Reversion, my first book, and all the other books, the other 4 books in the Stonemont series. This is about the way America should start over and should be. If you're interested in that, you can go to Amazon and get the reviews. You can read the foreword to it, so you get more of a sense of what I've just said about what it's about. Actually, it's about the collapse of the country and the world after I won't tell you what, either an EMP or a CME, and having to rebuild. And these people rebuild it right, and they rebuild it according to those basic principles and values that I hold to, and most of you do too. So the way to order this is also down there. So join us on Patreon or become a Stonemont, or however much you would like to do. Okay, the main reason that I'm making this today is an article that I saw late last night. It comes from the Truth About Guns website. As always, I will put the link to it over on the Patreon. So when I shoot one that goes on YouTube, I also put the same video on Patreon, so you know how it works. And then I'll put links to the articles down below so that you can access the article yourself. Okay. Of course, the ones that I just put on Patreon, you never see on YouTube. This one is, it says from the Truth About Guns, the headline is Breaking, Biden Administration Moves to Cut Off Lake City 223 and 556 ammo from the commercial market. That caught my eye because Lake City Ammo Plant is right out east of here. It's east of Independence, Missouri. As a matter of fact, I used to write a district around there. If you heard my story about the time that I was sent on the barricaded subject by myself, which wasn't unusual, sheriff's deputies do that all the time. You got to handle it by yourself. It wasn't far from Lake City Ammo Plant. So I'll start this article. It's not too long. I'll read the whole thing for those of you who like to, listen while you drive or while you do other things, and you don't necessarily need to watch it. I'll just read all this. Okay, it says, apparently not content with its efforts so far to make gun ownership more difficult and expensive for America's 100 million firearms owners, a source tells TTAG, that's the Truth About Guns, that the Biden administration is taking steps to reduce the availability of .223 5.56 ammunition available to the average shooter. This comes from a guy by the name of Larry Keene. He says, breaking news, the U.S. military is actively considering shutting down the sale of, it says is, but I think they mean of, M8855 and SS109 ammo from Lake City to the commercial market. Going down here, a person with knowledge of the situation tells us that more than just considering the move, Winchester, which operates the U.S. Army's Lake City ammunition plant, has been informed that it will no longer sell the M855 and SS109 ammunition produced in excess of the military's needs on the civilian market. How would that affect the civilian supply of .223 and 5.56 ammunition? We understand that as much as 30% of the commercial market's sales volume of .223 5.56 is produced by Lake City. The motivation here is obvious. The Biden administration is attempting to further spike the price of ammunition, squeezing the owners of America's favorite rifles, the scary black ones that the president assures us are only good for killing people and taking down Kevlar vest-wearing deer. Let's face it, even the hapless Biden administration must realize that they don't have any realistic prospect of getting another so-called assault weapons ban through the Senate. Instead, they're doing the next best thing. They're trying to make shooting most AR-15 rifles as expensive as possible for Americans who own between 20 and 25 million AR platform guns. We've reached out to Winchester for a statement on the Biden administration's move, but haven't received a response yet. We'll update this post when we do. In the meantime, it's just possible that the Biden gang may have shot themselves in the foot, metaphorically speaking, of course, with this ploy. John Cornyn and Chris Murphy pulled out all the stops to hammer out a compromise deal in the Senate that got 10 Republicans, 10 sellouts, to sign on. They announced it with great fanfare this past weekend. Now, as the actual legislation is being written around that deal framework, the Biden clown car crashes right into the middle of things with a heavy-handed maneuver that's sure to further anger tens of millions of gun owners in less than 5 months from the election. Will the 10 GOP senators who agreed to the Cornyn-Murphy deal stay on board now? Possibly, maybe even probably. But the administration's ham-handedness didness here can't make it any easier for the bipartisan 10 to maintain their resolve in the face of a snake belly low move by the ostensible leader of the Democrat Party. Developing story. Okay, well, there you have it. Probably no surprise. We've known that they were gonna, pull things like this anyway. So spread this to your friends. Spread it around to everybody that you know. If you need some, get some, because the price is going to start spiking and then really getting into ridiculous areas, I think. And then it may again be unavailable on the civilian market. I mean, if what we've seen in the past is any indication, that could certainly be. And who knows when availability might come back, and who knows what the price might be at that point. So if you need some, get some. Spread it to your friends. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Preparing well today means providing for all the needs of your tomorrow. Everybody who's got enough of this stuff, you're going, doesn't bother me. There will be some who say, you can never have enough. Okay, whatever. And those of you who think you need some more, you've just learned another lesson on the importance of planning ahead and preparing well, right? Okay, you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.